Welcome to the Bet Big Talk Loud podcast for Friday, March 6th. I'm Chris Hodge. Got JR with me. As always, got a great show planned. Once again, John Schaeffer from Sports Radio San Diego 760 will be joining us to go over college basketball, the conference tournaments.
He's always fun.
The big dance. John Schaeffer's great. One of the most knowledgeable sports radio hosts. I know you're on with a ton of them. I'm on with a ton of them throughout the country. He is one of the most knowledgeable guys.
And you can see it. Like he eat, drinks, thinks, sleeps it. Like when you're talking to him, it's all right there.
Everything.
It's not on paper. He doesn't have to read it. He doesn't have to look it up.
For me personally, there is no one in the country that I've spoken to on radio whose opinion I trust more when it comes to college basketball and baseball than John Schaeffer.
Yeah, he's been. I know he's given you. You guys talked about a few things, and spot on.
He's awesome. Before we get to the podcast today, definitely want to say, and I know you and I haven't even seen each other that much today.
No.
Want to say to all the military families out there, sons and daughters who are being deployed. I know we just dropped our son off at 5:30 this morning. I want all the military members out there. Thank you so much for your service to the military families, and we're in it together. And, to the men and women that serve this country, man, that's why we're able to do a podcast. That's why people are able to play sports. That's why people are allowed to bicker at holidays over the dumbest nonsense because of the stuff that you guys go out and do, men and women that serve this country. So thank you very, very much. I know you feel the exact same way.
Listen, anyone that deals with me who's ex-military or currently serving or a cop, they already know how I feel about it. It's funny you use that line because that's the line I use. You're the reason that I can sit behind my desk and make a living betting on sports.
100%.
And what a living it is. It's a fun. You can't do this anywhere else in the world.
No, man. And you guys make the sacrifice and sometimes, unfortunately, the ultimate sacrifice to go in and keep us safe, keep us free. So from Chris Hodge, JR, everyone here at the Bet Big Talk Loud podcast, takingvegas.com, girls.gamble.live, everyone around in the country that does this for us. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Get home to us fast. And
we are proud of you.
Absolutely. And this is why my personality could never be in charge, right? Because I would just say, drop a bomb on them and be back at 5:30 for dinner. And we call it a day.
The thing is, you have to have the emotion, the thought, of process of collateral damage of what's happening. I agree with you.
My first thought, Americans stay safe.
I agree with you. And that's the thing. Whether you agree with this war or not, support our troops.
Absolutely.
Okay? Because they didn't make the choice to go there. They're there doing what they're being told to do. So, support the troops, period, end of discussion. Whether you agree with what they're doing over there or not, we can't have a country like it was back in the 70s when we were cursing soldiers out for getting off planes.
That's ridiculous. So we got that, and let's do a podcast.
Let's do it.
So for me, we're going to talk some NBA, and this is funny for me, because I have done some brutal LeBron James and Kevin Durant takes.
How can you not?
Over my time.
Sure.
I believe, looking right at the camera, that those are two of the bigger bitches to ever grace the court in the NBA.
LeBron more than Kevin.
No, Kevin more than LeBron.
Really?
Kevin Durant, and I know he's got his little bitch shit on Twitter where he has his fake accounts and nonsense, right? Kevin Durant made one of the biggest, if not the biggest, bitch moves that I've ever seen in my life. He lost to Golden State, and then he went and joined Golden State.
Can't beat him, join him.
LeBron's close because he had to go play with his friends to win.
LeBron had a whole production. Do you remember when he was, making the switch and the trade, and it was always,
decision.
The decision. Yeah. Who does that?
To leave.
You want to talk about an egomaniac?
Absolutely.
And this crazy this crazy dude actually believes this
he's
shit.
So nice, man. This crazy motherfucker, this bitch, man. He's such a nice guy. And then there's me.
Oh, man.
But anyway, the funny thing that's happened to me through the years when I've gone on about LeBron James and Kevin Durant is I've been called racist. I've actually been called racist.
I've been called racist. I hate that shit.
No,
so now we can't talk about people?
So no, I'm going to make it even funnier for you. Okay? This is a real percentage. About 90% of the people who've called me racist have been fucking white.
Women. I know.
I look at their profile, I'm like, dang, man. So, and it's funny to me because, people just, they hear to take about LeBron James or they hear to take about Kevin Durant from a white guy, and that's their first thought, right?
Oh, this guy's a racist.
Meanwhile, My favorite athletes of all time
have all been black.
I believe every one of them. Jordan, Kobe, 1A, 1B in the NBA. Barry Bonds, by far, in baseball. Barry Bonds was my favorite guy to watch. I love Serena Williams. I loved watching her compete. What am I missing? What sport am I? Oh, boxing. Muhammad Ali, Tyson.
You went Serena Williams in tennis. See, I
my
would have
favorite
went
athlete in tennis.
John McEnroe from back in the day. He was so much fun to watch. That was when I actually watched tennis. He was just so much fun.
Well, I always liked Serena Williams, and I met her twice. And I've said this before on a podcast. And when I've met her, what a nice lady. And the conversations when I met her the first time was, I said, hey, good luck at the U.S. Open. She was here for the U.S. Open. I saw her at Roosevelt Field Mall. And she goes, you know tennis? And I said, I know you. And she laughed. And then a year later, I met her again, and she remembered me. She remembered the conversation.
Come on.
Yeah, she did. She was a sweet lady. I've always rooted for her. So my favorite athletes are African-American. All of them.
But you're a racist.
Yeah, so I've been called a racist for going after LeBron, who's a bitch, and Kevin Durant, who's a bigger bitch.
Come on. When did this country go that way? Why can't we just talk about people for people?
So let's confuse everyone. Right? This is what we're going to do right now. We're going to confuse everyone. Because if you've noticed by the pigmentation, we're white, okay? The biggest bitch in the history of the fucking world. None bigger than this guy. Luka Doncic.
Ooh.
So now where do you go with that, seeing that Luka is white? Yeah.
What are you doing?
I really fucked you on that one.
And why are you saying he's the worst?
Oh, bro, this fucking guy, man. And the Laker fans, they know it. Because this is not an indictment on the L.A. Lakers going after LeBron and Luka. Okay?
You sure?
No, it's really not.
Okay.
I promise you. I know I am a basketball fan, and I'm a Knicks fan, so I'm a fucking loser when it comes to basketball, right? Like, the Laker fans, the Celtics fans, they have watched great basketball in their lives. I mean, the Lakers, Showtime, Magic, Kobe, Shaq, Jerry West, Will.
And you forget you had Shaq there for those years, man.
They've watched, and the Laker fans, you guys know it, but you root for your team, okay? This guy, Luka, complains about everything.
Every night, every single play.
Everything.
It's like one of those kids where no matter what, every time he's always wrong, but he's got an excuse for everything.
So,
he did this, he did that, ref, don't you see? It really.
So this is what's on the Lakers right now. And again, Laker fans, this is not indictment on the LA Lakers. These two just happen to be playing for your team. We're going to play this video. I don't know if you saw it, okay? Because again, you and I haven't really seen each other today. Last night.
Oh, it was last night. Yeah, I was on NHL last night.
All right, so last night, LeBron James drives the lane, lefty layup, or it might have been a righty layup, but it was on the left side. And he kind of slightly bumps with Jokic. We're going to play the video right now. Now, watch this. This guy hits the ground and rides in pain, holding his elbow like we haven't seen this 7 million times. Look at this video. Look at how this guy fucking cries. I mean, this is unbelievable.
Was it really like
Oh, bro, this guy's the biggest baby in the world. I don't care, man. This guy's the biggest baby in the world. And Luka tops him. Luka tops that video. He does.
But you can run a compilation of LeBron James, and we could be here an hour.
Okay. We can run a compilation of Luka Doncic crying to the refs after every fucking play.
He must be getting the calls, because otherwise, why is he bitching? Right?
Nah, bro,
so
guy,
does the squeaky wheel get the oil in the NBA? Maybe it does.
I have never seen anything like these two in my life. I mean, for the LeBron James fans, for you guys to actually say with a straight face that he could play in the 80s and 90s, this guy's on his ass every game.
Please.
Crying. Look at the video.
Listen, he could have played, but he would have retired 7 years ago.
He would have been knocked out.
I saw this on another podcast the other day. We're talking about the play in the 80s and 90s versus the play today, right? And how much more physical it was on the inside. Like, you couldn't go inside without knowing you were getting hit on every drive.
Criminals.
Right? Absolute criminal, right? Now, today, it's a different game. It's on the outside, but there is, and the way he put it, and he makes sense, a lot more miles on the legs.
No, I don't buy that, man. I think that's bullshit too.
A lot more up and down, up and down. I mean, there's a lot more offensive possessions, right? You got a lot more possessions. You got to go up and down the court more.
So he did say that, and people have bought into that. And
I didn't buy into it. I didn't say I bought into it. It was a good point.
If you take that at its face value of what this baby said, okay, you could say, okay, LeBron James, all right. But go look at how they played defense in the 80s. Motherfuckers are not playing defense right now.
They don't even know what defense is.
Chucking a three.
That's it.
There's no defense. There's no physicality. So you're telling me you can't run?
When you had to go against the triangle, man, you were getting murdered.
Fuck the triangle. You had to go against the freaking Pistons. That was a football team.
I remember that. That was, you want to talk about guys that would just tackle you if you went to the hoop.
There's something called the Jordan rules.
True.
And go look it up. The number one Jordan rule, number one, was don't let him get to the air.
That's it.
Once he gets off the ground, there's a problem. Tackle this motherfucker.
And some of the moves that he would make would just, it wasn't even going to necessarily straight to the hole. He'd go underneath and do a little behind the head and go in and take the foul. I mean.
But this video last night with LeBron, again, it's the boy that cried wolf. It's the boy that cried wolf. This is what this guy does. And somehow the Los Angeles Lakers, either the number one or the number two, and the Boston fans and the Laker fans could fight over that with me, right? The most storied franchise in NBA history. It's one or two.
It's Boston.
Okay? Boston, LA, Boston. I'm good with either one.
Boston, right? LA.
I
fucking hate the Celtics, okay? But still, the most storied franchise in the history.
I have no problem with that, all right? You guys have watched greatness your whole lives. You know this ain't greatness. You know it. If they put the truth serum in the Laker fans' arms, get this motherfucker LeBron off my team. This guy Luka's a crybaby. If the truth
they're not getting rid of Luka though.
No, not getting rid of Luka.
They're going to keep him, but just shut him up, like stick a shoe in his mouth.
And I don't know if you saw the video with JJ Redick walking down the sidelines. He got on Luka because look, Luka does not play defense
at all.
Game one of the season, I did a video. You weren't here for it. Game winners, I did a video. Reeves don't play defense. LeBron don't play defense, and he wasn't even playing at the time. Luka don't play defense. How were you ever winning?
So bet the over in every Lakers game.
But at the end of the day, okay, I said they got to get rid of LeBron because they need that $52 million, and then they could put it elsewhere. But if you went and watched when Dallas made the NBA Finals against Boston, right now, great job by Luka getting Dallas to the NBA Finals.
Sure.
Great job. But if you watch it, and you're a basketball guy, he was exposed in the NBA Finals. The Celtics went right after him.
They did.
On every defensive possession and made him look like a child. And his defense somehow got worse.
But he also didn't have the supporting cast in Dallas like he has in LA.
I don't know that. I don't know that. LeBron's old, and Reeves is what Reeves is. I'm not saying Reeves isn't a good player. He's a good player.
I'm waiting to see the giant drop off with LeBron. I'm not seeing.
Oh no, he's a specimen.
It's unbelievable.
No, we're not talking about.
But as long as he's been in the league, I mean, you want to talk about mileage? I mean, that is a jalopy. He's got classic plates on the car.
I mean, from a longevity standard, the guy's the best ever.
It's unbelievable.
The standard.
Unbelievable.
From a longevity standard, from a crybaby, lay around on the floor, flop like a fit. The flop rule
is because of him.
LeBron.
I was going to say that.
Right. So you
they actually had to make a rule.
Wow, you can't tell me you're the
on
greatest
pretending
ever.
you got hurt. Can you imagine?
And so you went from one bitch to another, and then you got the other bitch in Houston who just bitches around the league and never wins without Steph. That's how I feel anyway. We can move on. Oh, good news for tonight. Actually, this is good to see. And Boston fans, this coming from a Knicks fan. You're a Knicks fan?
Well, I mean, I'm not much of a
fan, but if a team would have won, Knicks,
yes.
Yeah, me too, Knicks, right? So yeah, laugh at
I
us.
can't believe you called yourself a fan. By the way,
so they are the one team that I would like to see win a championship. Do I lose sleep when they blow a fucking 15-point lead against Indiana in a play? No, I don't lose sleep over that shit.
I hate Dolan, so.
Oh, well, you're an Islanders guy, so yeah,
I know,
yeah.
but just still.
But it is good. Jason Tatum is returning tonight. No one wanted to see him get injured last year with the Achilles. No one wanted to see that.
How is he coming back? I mean, such short,
I'm so glad you said that. I really am.
And we didn't talk about what we were talking about. You just brought this up.
I'm so glad you said that. And I know
that's a serious injury.
I know the Achilles injury and the ACL. I know they're different injuries.
Yeah.
But this dude Tatum is coming back in 10 months to help his team win. Kyrie sitting out another year.
Oh yeah.
Right? And who was Tatum's guy? It was Kobe.
Sure.
Now, I think Kyrie liked Kobe too, but he didn't take Kobe's like DNA sort of kind of, right? Tatum has what Kobe had, right? Tatum's a killer.
Killer.
So, and then, again,
that
Knicks
elevates the Celtics
100%.
exponentially.
So, did the Knicks fans, did you enjoy it? Right? Did you enjoy it? Right? Like,
so you're saying it's over?
Over. It was over before it began. It's you never want to win due to injury.
No.
Right? So we saw OKC win a championship last year when Halliburton went down, which was unfortunate. And I don't know if OKC is going to win Game 7 if Halliburton don't get hurt, because he was on his way to having an epic Game 7.
Unreal.
I do not believe, even though the Knicks were up at the time and about to take a 3-1 lead because Tatum got hurt at the end of Game 4, I do not believe the Knicks beat the Celtics last year if Tatum does not get hurt. I think the Celtics would have won the last 3 games.
No doubt about it.
Okay. So you never want to win due to injury, right? But
Win's a win, though, right?
The Knicks came into this season with no Halliburton for Indiana. So, and they've been terrible.
He's a machine.
No Tatum for Boston.
Sure.
But you know what Boston did? Credit to you guys, okay? Credit to the Celtics. They lost their best player. These motherfuckers, man. They 41, what do they have? 41-21 record? Yeah. I think that's what their record is today.
That's why I heard them talking about it today. Like, do you even need him
to
come back?
Oh, you need him?
To make the push into the playoffs, yes. But do you need him tonight? Do you need him, can he take another 30 days? You guys are gelling. You're winning games. You're positioning yourself.
I like what they're doing.
I think
He's
it's
gonna
not
be on a minutes
it's
restriction.
not like right, but it's not like they gotta bring him back into the game and let him. No, he's gonna come back and be impactful right away.
Okay, no, but
we also don't want to injure him again.
Okay, agreed. No one wants to see the guy get hurt.
You need him for the playoffs.
Okay, yes, but I don't believe you want to throw him in to the playoffs. Let him get 15 to 20 minutes a game. There's only 20 games left.
I was going to say 10 games.
Yeah,
give
maybe.
it another 10 games.
But,
let them.
Listen, their doctors are smarter than you or I. So
I don't know if that's a doctor's decision or his decision to say, "Put me in, coach."
But from a Knicks guy and a Yankees guy who despises the Red Sox and doesn't much like the Celtics either,
and doesn't use the word "we."
Right, I do not. Okay, that is a great job by the Celtics organization. 41-21, fantastic job by your head coach Joe Mazzulla. Fantastic job by the front office. Fantastic job by the players. You guys should be proud. And I'm rooting for Tatum. I am. I want to see this kid come back. I want to see him
play. He plays an undeniable. The guy's just sick. I mean, he's like silk on the court. I mean, he really is up and down. He plays both offense and defense. Yep. Stops guys coming in. He's not afraid to get back. That's what you want to see, right? You don't want to see a guy yelling at the refs every time because somebody just put his pants at his ankles.
Oh, the bitch. Luka. Like I said, the people who call me racist.
You're like, where's he going? I slowed it down.
Nah, the people who call me racist, I love to see where you go now.
Yeah. I
love to see where you go now because I went after the white guy. I went after LeBron and KD. They're black. I'm white. I get it.
So I guess that's a good thing. I could talk about hockey all day and rip them up because they're all white and no one's going to call me a racist.
Well, my favorite player in the NHL was not PK Subban. My favorite player was actually Mark Messier. So go ahead, have your fun.
I actually got to watch. I used to watch hockey in the 90s, and man, Jaromir Jagr.
Jagr was great.
Wayne Gretzky.
Of course,
just
Lemieux.
And that's why, the trade deadline, obviously we're doing the show, trade deadline's about to happen, and they're like, can so-and-so get traded? And they just keep bringing it. Gretzky got traded. So anyone can get traded. Here we are 30 years later, and that line's still being used. Anyone can get traded. If they traded Gretzky, you could trade anyone.
Say one of my favorite players in the NHL was not because of what he played and he was on a team that I rooted against at the time, because at that time of my life I was a fan before I got into this business.
Rangers, right?
I was a Rangers fan, yes. And but Martin Brodeur.
Oh my God, Marty!
Well, from a obvious hockey standard, the guy was a great goalie. Maybe
arguably the greatest.
Patrick Waugh, Hasek.
Yeah, there's 3 that you can argue greatest of all time. But Marty, right there.
The reason why Marty for me is, I believe he banged his wife's sister, which I don't approve of.
Oh, God.
So But the chant,
Like, where are we going?
yeah, here's where we're going. The chant at Madison Square Garden for Martin Brodeur was Uncle Daddy, which might be the greatest chant in the history of chants.
That's so awesome.
And you just had to like the guy because of it.
That's almost like when I go to a lot of Islander games, you know that. But anytime they play Toronto, John Tavares, every time he'd
PJs? Pajamas? Pajama Boy? Is that Tavares? What do they call him? Because when he took the picture in the Maple Leafs pajamas after he left,
could be. But he used to be the captain of the Islanders.
I know that. I'm
but
aware.
that's why we boo him every time he touches the puck. Just a giant boo in the entirety of the UBS Center.
Well, you still got the Ranger fans. They do that whistle and they say Potvin sucks. That was 100 years ago. They're still doing that.
And every game at the UBS Center, Rangers suck is being chanted.
If you know the Rangers suck, clap your hands. Something like that. Yeah, it's
every single game, no matter who they're playing.
As it should be.
It's pretty awesome.
As it should be. So that's a little bit of NBA for tonight. Good for Jason Tatum, and certainly wish you a healthy return. And then we'll go over to the NCAA, which for gambling purposes, I find they're getting better, especially in basketball. They just this just came out today. For the NCAA tournament, first time it's ever happening, you have to have player availability reports, and you have to have it the night before the game.
Really?
9 o'clock the night before the game. You must have player availability reports. The 3 are he's available to play, he's questionable, he's out. Now, the major conferences have been doing this year, right? The NBA has not. The NBA don't announce who's starting until 6:30 at night. Almost impossible to bet.
Right.
Because you got to confirm the lineups. Like
you
tonight,
have to. It's so important.
It's what time is it right now? It's 1:45 that we're doing. It's doing it a little early today because we had John coming on.
Yeah,
he had it because he has a show and he has the San Diego State game tonight. Like Wembanyama could be out tonight because they
sure.
And you don't know it.
You don't know.
You don't know.
Especially with the way these pussies sit themselves on the bench constantly. So, I mean. Come on, baby. Leave me hanging.
Good for you, bro. Finally. That JR, that guy looks so nice, boy. That's what they say about you, man. JR is so nice.
There's still some pussies out there.
But I like that, and that's a gambling thing. That's because of gambling.
But
now they could say otherwise. That's because of gambling.
But why? I mean, it's like they're literally, if it's because of gambling, and if the book's putting pressure on to not have the reports, they're costing themselves money.
No, you gotta, if you're gonna be running the billion-dollar industry that is the NCAA tournament, and every commercial you have on is going to be for a sports book.
DraftKings.
That's okay. For a sports DraftKings.
Be careful who we say.
Right? Well, not on radio.
Man, their stock has just been tanking. These prediction markets are taking over.
As they should be.
And they are taking over. I mean, I've got clients telling me that they're switching. You know, who wants to pay 10 to 15% when you can do a 2.5% transaction fee?
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, just worded a little differently.
But they need the liquidity. We talked about that.
It's been since the first time we spoke about it to now, it's probably went up 200%. And it's going higher and higher and higher. And that's why all these other trade platforms are starting to offer it.
I believe, and him and I did, and we had a couple guys in the office, we did some reconnaissance on this.
We did.
I remember the first college football game of the year, I believe was Kansas State, Iowa State.
Couldn't sell them.
You're right. You couldn't sell out of it at that time. Couldn't sell out of it. So
I remember I had like 100 contracts, and I'm like, yeah, sell. 12 got executed. I'm like, what's going on here? Sell again. 7 more. Oh my God, how many trades am I going to have to do?
Yeah.
So, but now
it's getting a little better.
It's definitely gotten better.
It's getting a little better,
and they're starting to take over market share. That's how you know. Yeah. And when you see sports books tanking on the stock market, you know that, and they're not hitting their numbers. So, I mean, losing money, not hitting numbers, this is going to be a telltale sign.
So we'll talk about that, and we got John Schaeffer coming on in just a few moments. Obviously, the show is sponsored by TakingVegas.com and GirlsThatGamble.live. GirlsThatGamble.live running a great promotion, $14.99 for all of March.
Wow.
Right? So,
by the way, I saw Schaeffer, and I was like, you didn't get Matthew Schaeffer, did you? I was like, oh, okay. All right, John Schaeffer.
We might have a great guest next week. We're working on it.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not going to say who, but we might have a great guest next week. Lots of fun next week.
I'm bringing a guest on.
And John Schaeffer's a great guest. Like, he's an awesome guest.
I'm going to bring on Landrum Roberts from WJOX. Yes, Alabama.
Oh, you've done an interview with him forever.
I've been on Alabama WJOX doing the interview and have never hit less than 70% on my free picks on air, by the way. Okay, 75% this year. Landrum's been now, I think, 8 or 9 years, the guy that's been covering me.
I don't know if he was out in Las Vegas, but one of the times you were out in Las Vegas for the NCAA tournament, you made him a lot of money, right?
Yes, he was there. He actually brought it up to me. He said, "You went 9-1 for me in the first and second rounds. You should bring me on your show." I'd love to have you. So
yeah, we'll set that up. I think we're gonna try to schedule him because you're going to Vegas for the first round. I'm out in Vegas later.
The first and second round, I'll be out there.
We'll schedule him before you leave.
Yeah.
And then we'll get you on.
I think we're going to do the podcast. I'll be in Vegas. We're going to try to do it from the casino, right?
Absolutely.
All right. That'll be awesome.
Absolutely. So, again, we got John Schaeffer coming up in just a moment. I'm going to get to a free pick. Got my cock knocked in last week with the free pick, boy. Woo, woo, woo. And, again, what did we say was going to happen? What did we say was going to happen?
You're giving it out in advance. Something's going to happen.
We buy that. But the week before, Arizona winner.
Yes.
The week before that,
another
Kentucky winner.
Yep.
16 and you're what's the record? 16-9 and you're 16-5, 32-15, 70%, right around it.
Yep.
Right. And lose by 100 last week with Arkansas, and everyone tells me I suck. It's great, man. Gamblers are so predictable.
Oh God, jeez, I told you. I know if a game lost because crickets when we win. Okay, crickets. Maybe 2 or 3 guys are saying good job, right? And all we do is win constantly. But when you lose a game, it's like all of a sudden I hear beep, 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 beep. All the texts coming in. I'm like, God damn it, what happened? I got to go look at the scores and
there are certain people I mentioned on this podcast, and the reason why I mention them is because they'll tell me good job when the game wins, and then they'll be like, yo, Chris, don't worry about it when the game loses. But of all the customers we have, that's like 0.3%.
I should go in and read right now some of the guys.
My wife said do that.
You'll have your
oh God,
blow your mind. Blow your mind.
Laughing. So before we have John Schaeffer come on, let me get to the free pick. Tomorrow, again, right now, what time are we now? 1:50. We're going to go with Purdue, who is -6.5 against Wisconsin. Last time they played at Wisconsin, they kicked the hell out of them. I think they beat them by 15 or 18 or wherever the hell they beat them by. Sure. They were up by 25 in that game. Purdue's 12-4 at home to play in the last home game. That's always an emotional thing. I just think Purdue overall is a better basketball team.
They always get hot this time of year too.
Yeah, I mean, they lost to Michigan State, but Michigan State's playing really well.
I just feel like every year as they get towards the conference tournaments and into the dance, they just start to get a little hot.
The thing about Wisconsin is they were out on the West Coast, and they had to come home for a game. And then, obviously, the travel from Wisconsin to Purdue is not insanely,
Sure.
But it's still travel. And I just think Purdue is a better team. I'll lay the 6.5. I think Purdue gets it done by at least 10. You last 3 times went with underdogs, going with a favorite.
Sure.
Today, so for tomorrow. So hopefully that wins. And I'm gonna give you the crazy. Okay, you know nothing about this, but that's okay. Okay?
like how he
nothing about this.
You know nothing about this.
I'm gonna give you the crazy. All right, now this is 4-1, maybe a little bit more. It's the SoCon conference, I think I want to say, or the Southern Conference. This is how I don't even know the conference. But someone told me about this morning I was speaking to, and I thought the value was good. So I'm going to claim it as my own. It's a risky bad thing to do. Mercer to win their conference tournament. Mercer to win their conference tournament.
What the fuck are you doing?
Plus 4-1. Mercer to win their conference tournament. Have fun with it.
So for that, now I know you told me, I don't give it. I'm giving a game out in hockey. We've got enough time. You said it's 1:30. There's a game tonight in the NHL.
Have fun, but the podcast might not be posted by tonight. We do it at a certain time, but it might not be.
If you don't want me to give them a winner, I won't.
Yeah, your funeral. Go ahead, have fun.
Carolina's taking on Edmonton tonight. The line is 6.5 on the total. It's going way over. Carolina just won 6-4, I believe. The scoring's going to be out of control. Edmonton has been just as poor as they get, even with the goaltender trade. Unfortunately, has not done them. It seems like any goaltender that goes to Edmonton just turns to shit. But I mean, this is a team that can obviously score. It's going to be a ton of goals. Go over 6.5 in Edmonton tonight. There'll be 9 to 10 goals.
I do have to say this for all his customers, you out there listening, you know this. man's been red hot in the NHL. And it doesn't matter what you win money on. It could be NHL, golf, whatever. Doesn't matter how you win or what you win on. Winning money is winning money. So he gave you the over in the Edmonton game. I gave you Purdue for tomorrow, then a crazy one, Mercer to win their conference championship. Stay right here. We got John Schaeffer coming up. You want to end this portion of it?
Guys, let's go out there and make some money.
Keep it right here on the Bet Big Talk Loud podcast. All right, welcome back to the Bet Big Talk Loud podcast. This interview sponsored by GirlsThatGamble.live. I have John Schaeffer back on the show from Sports Radio 760 in San Diego. I have to ask you a question first because I know Jim had left the show due to family, had to get back to Philadelphia. Have you got anyone to come join you yet on the show?
Dude, are you ready? Let's go.
Make the call, man.
Dude, it's been a challenge. I've been doing a lot of solo radio, but it's happening sooner rather than later. But yeah, it's been a crazy winter, and I'm excited for March Madness and everything coming up here, man.
Hey, listen, if you ever want to do a Padres, Yankees, coast to coast, everything in between, you give me a call, man. I'll be right there for you, man. Just like when I asked you to come on the podcast, you jump right on. I always appreciate it.
Yeah, so I'm happy to do it, man. I'm excited to catch up with you, and there's a lot going on, so excited to get into it with you.
All right, let's go. So I know that you are a champion for the mid-majors. You love them. I do not know which way you're going to answer this, nor do you know which way I'm going to answer this. So I'll start with you since you are the expert on it. There were some questions this week about Miami, Ohio. Bruce Pearl said if they don't win the MAC, they should not get into the big dance. They are 30-0. They play Ohio tonight. They're -5.5. We're doing this podcast, obviously, before that game starts. Does Miami, Ohio have to win the MAC and be undefeated to get into the big dance?
No, they don't. And I'm fascinated to hear what you have to say about it and what you think about it. But not only are they the only undefeated team in the nation, and I understand this sport is as analytical and metric driven as it's ever been, and this isn't 2004 anymore, but there comes a point where when you truly beat everyone on your schedule and you're in Division I, that I almost say metrics be damned to some extent. They've won a lot of close games. That is a fair point. They're the only undefeated team in their conference in America this year. Forget about undefeated out of conference. They're the only team in a conference that's undefeated to this point. So my point is I think they can take on a little water, which would be one loss. For me, I think it has to be excused. San Diego State in 2019-20 before the pandemic, their resume was completely different, but they were 26-0. And you felt the magnitude of every game as it went from 19 to 20. They eventually got clipped at home by UNLV as a huge favorite. It was almost an inevitability because everyone's just coming for you, knowing what it means for their program. You're going to end up on SportsCenter, et cetera. So for me, it speaks for itself. I get it. Their strength of schedule is awful. It is. They don't play in a great league. They're non-conference. They didn't play anyone. Apparently, they tried to. We could get into the merits of some of that. I'm not saying they should have some great seed for what they've done, but I am saying they deserve inclusion over, 16 and 15 Auburn, for example, in my mind. What do you think?
I'm back and forth. I really am. I love that Bruce Pearl brought the argument up because I think in Ken Palm, which I look at all the time for my business, they're number 88.
Yeah.
McNeese is number 67. Tulsa is number 55. I believe you guys in your conference, the Mountain West, have 7 teams higher in Ken Palm than Miami, Ohio, but they're undefeated. So if they win tonight, and let's say they just get caught in their conference championship, if I was in the room, I would put them in, but it would be a hard decision. I look, San Diego State, who'd you guys lose to this year? You lost to Michigan, didn't you?
Yeah, Michigan and Arizona.
Arizona, right? Grand Canyon is not a bad basketball team. Utah State is not a bad basketball team. I think you guys are on 19 wins. You guys
19 wins.
So you have UNLV tonight. So if you win tonight, you get to 20. Maybe you win a game or two in the conference tournament. Let's put you at 22. I don't know, man. San Diego State out? I mean, that is a team that's near and dear to your heart. If it came down to San Diego State, Miami, Ohio, what do you think?
Well, I'll change my opinion if that's what it comes down to. I'll tell you that. Then I'll change my tune. In any other situation, I probably wouldn't. I mean, you bring up some really compelling arguments. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I look at the way like a program like San Diego State, they're not the only program. I mean, Gonzaga obviously comes to the forefront where you're outside the power structure and you schedule like crazy. I mean, San Diego State last year beat Houston and Creighton on neutral floors in Las Vegas. That was their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Without those wins, I don't think they're in. This year they played Michigan and Arizona and Baylor. Oregon's been down, but they played them. I mean, they challenged themselves in the non-conference. And I 100% agree with the overall point. If Miami of Ohio played San Diego State's schedule, they would not have beaten Michigan or Arizona by and large. I think most people would agree with that. Would they have beaten a team like Utah State along the way, or Grand Canyon or Baylor? It's arguable. We'll never really know. I think the metrics support the fact that they haven't played a strong schedule. I think we all agree with that. But there's something that goes outside of the metric system that you just get into the humanistic quality of the sport. And you're like, you got to win games, man. And people are coming for you regardless of the quality of play. It's not easy. You go on the road in your league. I see it, for example, in the Mountain West, and the MAC is not the Mountain West, but it is hard to win on the road. For example, Michigan is the first Big Ten team to go undefeated on the road since Indiana in 1976. It's just hard to win on the road. So I think all things being equal, again, I'm not rewarding them with the highest of seeds if they lose a game in their conference tournament or if they lose tonight. But I think you got to find a way to squeeze them in. It would be interesting if they put them in Dayton if they didn't win their league tournament. I think that would be somewhat fascinating. But yeah, I think they'll be in if they suffer one loss.
But if they lose tonight to Ohio and then they don't win their conference championship, they're probably out.
Yeah, I think they're very susceptible. I agree with that. Yeah, I think 2 losses. I mean, here's the other thing about the losses. They'll change the metrics entirely, and the metrics already aren't good. I mean, everything's going to go down drastically based on any one defeat. And again, I think you stomach it in the conference tournament, specifically in a championship game. I don't think you can stomach it twice, potentially.
Agreed. I said this last week on a podcast. I don't know where you are with this. I don't recall a year, and you and I have watched college basketball through and through from the start of the season to the end forever, for our whole lives, right? Yeah. I don't remember a year where I have been, I would say I wouldn't be shocked if like 12 or 13 teams won this thing, right? So you're like, you have those big teams, your Michigan, your Duke, your Arizona, right? But, I mean, we haven't even mentioned Houston. Like, would you be shocked if Michigan State won this thing? Would you be shocked?
No. Not at all. With Tom Izzo and the success he's had in March, I wouldn't be shocked if a team like Iowa State won it. You know, Texas Tech, I would have told you, is right there before the JT Toppin injury. I mean, Nebraska would shock me. I don't think they've won an NCAA tournament game ever, but obviously they've had a very good year. But you know, a team like Florida that
wouldn't shock
fully
you?
Capable that is coming off a national championship. And there's other teams in there as well. Connecticut. Connecticut.
Yeah,
absolutely. The pedigree, the coaching, the roster in general. So you're right. Here's the thing. A year ago, the discussion about the tournament was it's so chalky, right? There were so few upsets. I think we'll get some. I don't think that remains the case in the first weekend, but I think ultimately you're going to see power at the end. The final 8, you know, the Elite 8 or the Sweet 16 is going to be 14 or 15 true dominant players in the sport, would be my guess. But I do think we'll see some upsets early, and I'm with you. I think there's 10-plus teams, absolutely, that would not shock me or surprise me if they won the NCAA tournament this year.
When I came on your show at the start of the college basketball season, you asked me for some futures in terms of national championships. And one of the one I gave you, I said Kansas is going to be a problem. They haven't been healthy. But if because Peterson just decides when he wants to play and when he doesn't want to play. Yep. But if that team gets in, and they're going to get in, but if they get into it healthy, why can't they win 6 straight games if he plays every game with their roster, right? What are they? They're like number 13 or 14 in the country right now. They can't make a run.
No, they can,
right.
100%, and it's all based on Darren Peterson. And my speculation is we're going to get into the Big 12 tournament, or we're going to get into the NCAA tournament, and that story is going to go by the wayside because he's going to carry the day. That's my guess. I think it's the only reasonable explanation with a program like Kansas. I mean, he's got to be able to carry that team. He's got to play 30-plus minutes. He can't play for 10 minutes in the first half and then sit in the second half, or he can't be a game time decision in the second round of the NCAA tournament. I think if they get him maximized, and if all of a sudden that story gets moved to the side, they can absolutely also make a run. I mean, I love the Big 12. Watching the Big 12 every Monday night, some of these matchups have been ridiculous. I mean, we've touched on Arizona, but the Arizona, Iowa State, and then you're getting like Texas Tech, Kansas. I mean, BYU's struggled, but by and large has still had, you know, a good year. I mean, there's 6-7 teams in the Big 12 that probably could rattle off, you know, 3 or 4 wins.
And BYU there, if you bet 100 and they win the NCAA tournament, you win back 15,000. They're number 24 in K-Palm, right? They're number 24.
Yeah.
That's a good metric.
Crazy.
But there is a team in the top 20. I believe AP top 20. I think they're actually number 20. That it would not shock me at all because they made a little bit of a run last year, and that's Arkansas. I think that they got that, they got a player that is playing better than maybe anyone right now in the country. Calipari always has his teams, prepared to go in a tournament. They're number 20 right now. $100 wins $6,000. Would not shock me at all if that team made the Final Four.
Darius Acuff is ridiculous. He's a special player. They've got a loaded roster, obviously. I mean, they have every resource available to them right now in the SEC. It's interesting because like the way it's set up right now, it's interesting what NIL has done to college football. We've talked about it. It's spread around some of the wealth, which has allowed programs like Indiana and Vanderbilt to rise over the last couple of years. I think you could make the same argument in college basketball where it's given a lot of more teams in the power leagues opportunities to make a run. I mean, there's teams that, again, have 5-star players that maybe wouldn't have had them 15 years ago because that money is now spread out among programs in the Big 12 or the SEC or the Big 10. And Arkansas, again, has every resource. They have a good history, obviously, if you go back to the 1990s as well. But yeah, I mean, that's what I love about this tournament. Like, nothing's overly surprising. I mean, certain things are surprising. Would I be surprised if Miami, Ohio made the Sweet 16? Yeah, I would. I really would. But would I be surprised if Arkansas made a Final Four, to your point? No, that to me isn't surprising. And we could make that case for 25 teams to make a Final Four, and that's the beauty of a one-and-done tournament like this.
So let me get this. Gun to your head, and I'll tell you who I believe is going to win. Gun to your head. Who's cutting the nets down?
Man, I love that question. I saw Michigan and Arizona close up. I mean, the night San Diego State faced Michigan in Las Vegas, I didn't know Michigan was Michigan. I think Michigan opened maybe a 5-point favorite. I mean, we're going back to November. San Diego State's coming off a home loss to Troy, and Michigan's sitting there on a neutral floor in the West, somewhere in the neighborhood of a 5-point favorite. It might have been less, dude. It may have been. Might have been 4.5 points, something like that. And they won by 40. Now, it was like a 10 or 12-point game at the half, and they blew the doors off the Aztecs in the second half. Little did I know the next night they'd beat Auburn by 40, and the next night they'd beat Gonzaga by 40. It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. They have 7 wins this year by 40 or more points. You're not doing that, though, in the NCAA tournament. But I just think their ceiling and upside is as good as anyone, and I think that's led by Yaxel Lendenborg, who San Diego State actually faced in the tournament a couple years ago when he was at UAB, and they beat him when he was at UAB. But they've got shooters, they've got size, they've got great wing players, they can spread the floor. I think Arizona's probably the better defensive team. I think Michigan's the better offensive and more well-rounded team. And it's probably my bias, having seen them up close and personal and seen how good they can be, that it's been hard for me to get out of my mind over the last 3 months. And I know it hasn't been perfect for them, but they've been really good. So again, it's easy to say Michigan. I mean, it's easy to say Michigan, Arizona, or Duke at this point, but I think Michigan will find a way to get it done. I don't think it'll be easy. There'll probably be a game or two that's a complete coin flip late, but I think it'll be Michigan if I had to make a pick. What do you think?
So I'm going chalk, which I hate doing, especially in my business, because I think it's Duke. And they're number one right now. I think it's going to be a great tournament. And like I said last week, and like we just discussed, it would not shock me if multiple teams won this thing. But I think when all said and done, I think they're the most complete team. I think they can get after it on defense. I think when they need scoring, they have it. You look at their loss to North Carolina. It happened on the last play of the game, and that was the only time in that game where North Carolina actually led that game, right? And that's when they still had, Caleb Wilson, and I mean, they had everyone there. I think when it's all said and done, Duke. But I do believe, and I mentioned this before we went on, man, something's telling me that Illinois is going to make a run. The way they shoot the three, they got a great dominant player who controls the ball. They can play defense. They're well coached. I just think they're going to make a run. I don't think it's going to be chalk where it's like Duke, Michigan, Arizona, and then UConn of Florida. I think there's going to be teams in there that make a run. I think Illinois is one of those teams that can make a run. But when it's all said and done, I think Duke. Yeah,
I mean, listen, it's interesting because we both pick, two of these powers in Duke and Michigan. And again, I think Arizona's no slouch. I look like Braden Burry's the freshman point guard is absolutely sensational. Koa Pete, their forward, is terrific. But it's more than that. They've got just terrific rebounding ability, their offensive rebounding. They've played a really tough schedule. Sometimes that's not the best thing in the world because you like kind of go through the rigors and you're worn down. when you get to this time of year. So it'll be interesting to see what plays out as well in the Big 12 tournament. And Arizona never wins in the NCAA tournament. That's my problem with Arizona. It's like I love what I've seen, but they just come up short so often. And I don't know if that's fair to say about this specific team, but that's kind of just in the DNA of the Wildcats. I mean, listen, Duke just beat Michigan.
Yep.
So, that would be interesting if we got a repeat of that potentially in a national championship game. But yeah, Duke, Michigan, Arizona are at the forefront, but I'm with you. There's 10, 15 programs that could make a run as well that wouldn't surprise me.
So I know you're in radio, and I'm going to just take it over to the NBA. And I don't know if you've touched on this or not. I'm always listening to your show, but I haven't gotten to it in the last week. Luka Doncic.
Yep.
Right now, in my opinion, I went off on him, early in the podcast with JR. I don't believe I've ever seen in my life a bigger superstar who cries more than this guy cries. Where I know you're out there, your signal gets into LA. Where are you on this kid right now?
I mean, to me, I would never go as far as to say like maybe the Mavs were right. That's not the point. But the point remains that until he wins at the caliber that everyone wants him to win at, he has tons of work to do. And again, what played out in Dallas, again, now with the benefit of time, becomes more and more explainable a little bit by the day, if that makes sense. And I mean, the Lakers are a far way off, dude. You look at the Lakers' overall record, and you're like, oh, they've been solid in the West, but they can't beat anyone better than them. They beat up on everyone worse than them, and that is not a good quality of a team that's trying to make a postseason run. And I mean, it's the same old story with Luka. It really is. It's like, great offensive player. Can he win a championship or more? I mean, he wasn't acquired to win a championship. He was acquired to change the course of their franchise again. I mean, he's acquired to be the next, Kobe Bryant or superstar of the LA Lakers, and they are so far off. And it does just seem like, what's the next course of action for the Lakers? Certainly they're going to be building around him this offseason, and they'll obviously have more cap space to do that with. But I still, it's not that the jury is out on him as a player. The jury is out on him as a player that can lead a team to championships. Yes, he's gotten to an NBA Finals. Yes, he's still arguably in the first half of his career. I don't think it's easy in the Western Conference. I mean, just look around the Western Conference. To me, it's uphill sledding even beyond this season for the Lakers. And there'll be more and more scrutiny as they continue to kind of just, wind their way through the Western Conference without being a dominant player moving forward. Do you see them as the top team in the Western Conference at some point in the next year or two?
Well, OKC is loaded for bear with their draft picks, with their draft capital. They Presti did a great job. San Antonio's up and coming. Minnesota's getting hot right now. When Houston, when they lose Durant, they'll come down. But in my estimation of what I hate watching right now from Luka is he just always complains. Everything is a complaint, man. He doesn't play good defense. He complains when he gets bumped. I mean, he just play. And if we're being fair, when he played in the NBA Finals, he got exposed defensively, and he has not improved defensively. He's actually got his metrics have gotten worse. So to your point 2 minutes ago, it was Dallas right? Was Nico Harrison right? I don't think he was because of the people he got back. Like, if he gets a haul back, then you could say, okay, whatever. Yep. But they just didn't get enough for him. But, man, I'm not liking what I'm seeing from – I mean, is he a top 5 NBA player? He probably is, and I don't like what I'm seeing. I just don't like what I'm seeing.
I'm with you. I think you're spot on. And the funny thing about being a top player in the NBA is, like, what are we grading these players on? Is it popularity? Is it offense? Sure. I mean, is he among the most popular players in modern basketball history? Yeah, probably is. Is he one of the most gifted offensive players in the history of the league? Yes, he absolutely is. But is he one of the top 20 well-rounded players?
No.
Is he going in the top 10 in terms of building a team that's capable of winning a title? It's like, listen, Luka's going to get 100 times the headlines in his career of Kawhi Leonard. But Kawhi Leonard has had the characteristics that have put him in a position to win at a high level, and with multiple franchises, by the way. Now he hasn't done it with the Clippers, and now he's older and has had the injuries. But it's not even to compare the players. They're completely different players. But, like, at the end of the day, people are going to remember Kawhi as a champion. Yeah, they'll remember load management. Yes, they'll remember the injuries. But dude is a brilliant defensive player. I mean, just go Google, 2016 Kawhi defensive highlights, and it's like a joke. You've never seen anything like it. So I'm always drawn to that. Like, who is the player that takes the team and makes them from great to very great or good to great? And I honestly, I don't know if Luka's that player. I mean, I might look foolish saying that in 5 years, but I think there's other players in the NBA that are capable of doing that beyond Luka Doncic.
And I got asked a fascinating question last week. And my answer, a lot of people didn't like my answer. So I don't know where you are on this, right? But this was actually a fascinating question, and I haven't even brought it up to you. So here it is. First time you're hearing this, right? If you take what you know of both of their careers, take every single thing you know about both of their careers, the injuries, the longevity, teams they stayed on, what they did for the game, how many titles they've won, and you had the number one pick to start a franchise, would you take Steph Curry or would you take LeBron James?
Oh, man, that is a fascinating question.
I said the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Take everything you know. Steph won franchise. LeBron moved around. Obviously, LeBron has the most points in NBA. Take everything you know. Both guys have won 4 titles. Everything you know. You are gun to your head, and you got to pick one of them to start a franchise. Who would you take?
You know, I don't think this is supported by, the metrics necessarily, or like the true impact, the all-around performance of a player. Like, again, I think it's easy to make the case that LeBron James is a more well-rounded player in his career than Steph. But man, I'd be tempted. I'd be tempted to take Steph. I mean, I don't know. That is a really, really hard question. Again, I think who's going to be remembered as the better all-time player? It's LeBron James. But Steph Curry is going to be remembered as one of the great players in the history of the league and the best shooter. I mean, I'd prefer as a fan to have had Steph Curry on my team for the last 15 years than LeBron James. That's how I feel as a fan of the league. Now, LeBron's played for more titles. He's probably put more teams on his back than Steph Curry. But if I'm building around Steph Curry and he's 22 years old, I'd be inclined to take Steph. And I can't necessarily put my finger on the reason as to why, other than, to me, I enjoy Steph more than I enjoy LeBron. And I could say that's just how I am as a basketball fan. LeBron as a player, I have not enjoyed watching as much as like MJ. I'm 45. I grew up with Michael Jordan. I just thought stylistically he was more impressive as a player, where LeBron's more of a bulldog, like downhill physicality. And that's an amazing trait. He's an unbelievably gifted player. I just prefer the finesse in the game of like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. I just do. I'm not saying that they're necessarily better players. I'm not saying Steph Curry's necessarily better than LeBron. I just enjoy some of the elements of their game that they possess and their skill set a little more than LeBron.
I went with Steph as well.
Okay. So that's me saying I would go with Steph. Yeah.
I went with Steph as well. The person I was talking to called me an idiot. I don't believe I was an idiot. But my reasoning was, look, like you just said, LeBron is one of the most dominant basketball players of all time. But he's been on multiple teams. So you asked me, right, the person who did, take everything. Well, Steph has played on one team forever, so I don't have the fear that he is going to leave. Steph has never asked to fire a coach, right? He had Mark Jackson, he had Steve Kerr forever. LeBron's had more coaches than you and I have had girlfriends combined, okay? So, I mean, I think from everything, when you take everything, and I personally believe that Steph changed the game. I personally believe that. I don't believe LeBron changed the game. When I was coaching you, I said this last week. Kids used to come in and used to shoot layups, right? They used to work on fundamentals, and this guy came around, and these kids are walking into the gym and shooting threes. Like this is it. Like, we're gonna shoot threes, and we're gonna shoot not even good threes. Like, we're gonna shoot fadeaway crazy threes. And I think Steph's impact on a team, I would go with Steph.
Yeah, I mean, I can, I'm in agreement. I am, and maybe it's my time working with Jim as well, who's a lifelong Warriors fan and grew up in Northern California. I mean, he is special, and it's easy to say that he's changed the game, and he has. And now you see like these 7-footers that shoot like 48% from three. I mean, everything's insane with the way that the game has changed. But still, I don't believe he's easy to replicate. Just because everyone can shoot the three doesn't mean everyone's going to be Steph Curry. So I do think he's got a little bit of a one-of-one instinct to him, where LeBron may be the same as well. But I think there's some players in LeBron's mold as well. But again, it's like all things being equal, who do I prefer to be dominant on a basketball floor, and who do I prefer to watch? again, I think Steph Curry at his best has more definable moments for me than LeBron James at his best. I don't know
Yeah,
if
I
that's
mean,
true or not. It's just in my head.
yeah, I mean, I don't think the GOAT thing is up for debate for me. And I said this when I was in studio with you years ago. I said,
Yep.
to me, it's Jordan and Kobe. Like that's my 1-2 because Jordan's number one and Kobe was the closest thing to Jordan. So if I got Jordan number one, I'm going to have Kobe number two. I didn't see the big guys, the dominant big guys. I don't believe you did either. You and I are around the same age. I didn't see Wilt and Russell and all these guys. So based on what I seen, it's Jordan, it's Kobe. Now here's where I get somewhat hypocritical. Okay, I chose Steph, but my top three are Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. So I'm somewhat hypocritical.
Yeah.
But I just think starting a team based on all the information that we have about both players, it's Steph.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and you and I think have had this conversation before. I'm super biased on Kobe because I'm from Philadelphia and went to Lower Merion.
Oh,
We've had
yes,
this conversation.
yes, we have had that conversation.
I was at Lower Merion for 2 years when Kobe was at LM. I was a freshman, sophomore. He was a junior and a senior.
Wow, that must
Now,
have been fun
I
times.
had no inkling what was about to play out over the next 25 years. But obviously, he's this special, gifted player. A lot of people at that point thought he would be better off going to college because most players went to college at that point, although that was the era where you went from high school to the NBA. But, I mean, to watch how it all played out, I'm with you. Like, for me, Kobe was that guy that was fearless and would never go down without a fight. And sure, could he shoot you out of a game occasionally? Yes, but he shot you into them as well. And the fact that he won 2 without Shaq to me is the clear defining, separator for me in terms of just his true greatness. And yeah, no argument for me that I think Kobe's one of the greatest players in the history of the sport. Now, I think you look at some of these lists and maybe he's not going to sit in the 2, 3, 4 range. Maybe he's sitting more in the 5 to 10 range. And listen, I mean, they're subjective lists. I understand that, but I could easily make the case that Kobe's one of the greatest players in the history of the sport. And I think you could state that as fact. And I don't think it's overly arguable.
Yeah, and then we have John Schaeffer joining us from San Diego Sports 760, back on the podcast, and this interview sponsored by Girls That Gamble.live. So I talked to you about college basketball, and really there's no one I respect more. I was telling this to JR earlier in the podcast. We do interviews all across the country, right? When I speak to you guys, your knowledge of college basketball, you're at the top for me in terms of the radio guys I deal with. And I've told you that before, and I wasn't just saying that on your show. I've said that to you before. Truly meant it. Your knowledge of sports overall. But let me just, we got about 10 minutes left here. Before we let you go, let's get to some baseball, okay? We got the WBC starting up. We'll get to that in just a moment. Do you and I both agree that there is going to be a lockout next year? Like, this is the last year we're going to have baseball until they figure the CBA, the collective bargaining out?
100% there will be a lockout. I'm not yet convinced in terms of its impact on the 2027 season. There absolutely could be a stoppage that prevents them from playing 162. That would not surprise me. But oftentimes there's a lot of, punches thrown and statements made, and they find a way at the 11th hour. If you look back over the last 5 CBAs, let's say, basically since the strike, we lost the World Series in the 1990s, they have figured it out. And it's been contentious before, and I know it will be again. But I think ultimately both parties lose, certainly the fans lose, if it really does drag out to a situation where you're not playing baseball in 2027. I mean, it's beyond problematic. It could be, catastrophic to some extent, I think, for the sport. So I'm hopeful that it's resolved. Are there issues with the sport and the way it's currently constructed? Yeah, of course there are. And I bet there are in the NFL and the NHL and the NBA. Certainly there are in college sports. I mean, you've got unlimited free agency and no salary cap. What sport in the history of the world has existed in that manner? Yet college sports still kind of is thriving, certainly from a television viewership and fan attendance perspective. So do I love the current system? No, probably not. But baseball's never been perfect. It's not like the Yankees didn't have inherent advantages in the 1920s when they were winning at the clip that they were winning at. So I don't think we have to be in a situation where everyone has an equal shot at the pie. The facts of the matter are the facts of the matter. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is a different city than New York, New York. They have pros and cons. San Diego is different than Los Angeles. There are pros and cons. So you're never going to have a situation with unlimited parity or complete parity. So, but I do think that there's some things that probably need to be worked out in this CBA. So, yeah, we may have a work stoppage, but it's unfortunate because I feel like baseball's in a decent spot. Automatic balls and strikes, pitch clock, WBC. Last year's World Series is a damn good World Series.
One of the best I ever
It
watched.
would be unfortunate.
Last year was one of the best World Series I ever watched. Now, you can all tell by the hat that John is wearing. He is a Padres fan. But so, take your bias out of it, man. Do you believe the Dodgers are good for baseball or bad for baseball with what they're doing right now?
I love that question. I mean, we've probably posed it in one way or another 25 times over the last half decade or more. Yeah, if I was leaning one way, I would actually lean good, not bad.
Me too.
And the reason
I agree.
I'd prefer to point people towards the top than bring everyone back towards the bottom. Like, I don't know what the analogy would be. I'm not really a racing fan, but like putting restrictor plates on cars. Like, people like to see cars go fast. They don't want to see cars, limited and held back to allow other cars to be, close to as fast as those vehicles. Like, listen, the one complaint I've had about the Dodgers is they already have the advantages. I have no problem with their spending. I think the deferral portion of it has become a little bit problematic, where it feels like they're using their deferrals and then piling on with their additional spending. So I don't know. I don't know if that's reasonable or fair or not. But listen, I mean, the Padres under Peter Seidler, the previous owner, before he passed away untimely, were a top 3 spender. And they've been a top 10 spender in like the 27th biggest market. So, and it's funny, when the Padres are spending around baseball, people would say, it's not good for baseball. It's not sustainable. But then when like the Dodgers and the Yankees spend, it's like, hey, it's good for the game. I want to see all teams at least have the desire to spend at a high level. And so, yeah, I mean, I kind of prefer, to watch a sport where the ownership groups are trying to win at a high level. And I think San Diego is included in that. It's uphill when you have teams like the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Mets and others. But I much prefer that than to cap spending at $120 million. And you can't even cap spending in baseball. How do you do it? I mean, the Dodgers are already over that number. The Mets are already over that number. The Yankees could be over that number. So you can do some things, but I don't think we're getting a true salary cap with the next CBA. That's just my 2 cents on it.
I actually hope not. I am not for a salary cap in any sport. I hate it. And the reason why, I was a bit hypocritical in the last, we're talking about Steph and LeBron, but for me, I don't want someone telling me that you can only make X amount of dollars. Like in your business,
Right.
do you want, hey, you're going to host a great radio show, but you can only make X. Like, I don't like that. So if I don't like that for me, how would I like that for any professional athlete? So what I would like to see is, I think the revenue share is the best way to do it. Now, here's the problem. I hate cheap billionaires, right? You're getting money back. You're already a billionaire. Put it into your team. And because my argument, John, has always been, if you win, people will show up and you'll sell tickets. If the Pittsburgh Pirates go to the playoffs this year, they will sell out. They will sell out their games. People will go see them. So that's my problem. You have these billionaires in baseball, and they're just not putting the money back into their team. And then they're blaming the Dodgers for, all of the spending when the Dodgers win.
I agree with that.
And by the way, not to cut you off, they're one play away like 5 times last year from not winning. So Toronto almost beat them.
Yeah, you don't solely win in baseball because of spend. If you did, the Mets would be really good. And they never are. I mean, and go back to 2024. I mean, it's more, it'll be remembered more here because when the Padres played the Padres led the Dodgers in a best-of-5 NLDS 2-1 at home. They were hosting the Dodgers to close out that series. They didn't score the last 2 games. But like the Padres were positioned to win that series. They didn't lose that series because the Dodgers outspent them. They lost that series because they choked in those final 2 games. So I'm completely with you. And the Blue Jays didn't lose the World Series because of anything that the Dodgers had to do with it. They lost it because they couldn't hold leads in the 8th and 9th innings of Game 7. So yeah, I'm with you. Just because the Dodgers, it's honestly a disservice to the Dodgers. Yeah, they've spent at a high clip. And maybe you can be critical to some extent of that, but they've also invested in the right players.
Yep.
They've created an excellent farm system. Their baseball analytics department, operations has been really, really good. You add it all up, they've had better chances to win than most. It doesn't guarantee them winning World Series. I would still take the field over the Dodgers every day of the week. No team has a 50% chance of winning the World Series. So they're not inevitably winning World Series, but they're well positioned to win World Series.
And that's all you can ask for as a fan. I personally, right now, what baseball is doing, I love the ABS. I love it. And because these umpires, and everyone that comes to mind is Angel Hernandez, even though I know he's been gone, right? But these umpires with the balls and strikes, they're really bad. They're not good, right? And I think ABS, these teams get 2 a game. I would always bet that there's going to be over 5 per game. Even though 2 and 2 adds up to 4, you get to keep it when you're right. And I don't think especially the batters, I don't think the batters are going to be wrong when someone punches them out. Who was it? I said last week, the dude on the Red Sox walked to first base. Did you see that clip?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I did see that.
He tapped his helmet and walked away. He knew it was a ball.
He knew.
So I love ABS. Where are you on it?
I love it. If my one criticism is each team should have more than 2.
Agreed.
Like, now give me more than 2. Because now, listen, you could have 2 and you could challenge 35 pitches. Like, if you're working with just a terrible plate umpire, I don't think you'll see 35, but you get my point. Like, if we keep getting them right collectively as a team, you can just keep challenging and challenging and challenging. And I do think we'll see instances of that where you're going to have 10-plus challenges from one team because they just keep getting them right. I don't know what that's going to – I mean, it's going to be an indictment on the plate umpires. I think ultimately we're heading down a path where it'll be more controlled by the automatic balls and strikes than the umpire. Right now, the game is being called by the umpire. They have a union. That's fair. I think it's reasonable. People have watched umpires for 150 years. I think there'll come a day it'll look more like tennis, where now it's just like nobody even questions like the judge's judgment. It's all based on the replay system, and I think that's ultimately where we're heading. Certainly, there'll be more challenges permissible in the years ahead than 2 in 2026, and you know that this system is opening a Pandora's box, which is now allowing balls and strikes to be reviewed basically forever, which could ultimately one day take the plate umpire out of a game.
Yeah, just make whether he slides into home plate, that's what you're calling, safe or not.
That's exactly right.
I know you got a busy day. I'm going to ask you one more thing. It's 2 questions, but really one question, right?
Yeah.
I love the WBC. What do you think about it?
It's grown on me. I say this on the air. When it first started, I'm like, what are we doing? I didn't see baseball globally the way I see it now. It has grown on me. It is absolutely a popular event. I don't know where I put it in the hierarchy of like sports international events. I had this conversation the other day. Like, to me, it's not the Olympics, certainly. Like, to me, it's not Olympic hockey or Olympic basketball. That's on a different stage, everything that surrounds it. And then somebody texted in, like, is it like a Ryder Cup? Is it like 4 nations with hockey? As in, those are great events. And so is the WBC. It has grown on me. Like, I have a level of intrigue for this weekend with the U.S., but I'm like, it's pool play. You're playing Brazil. Like, why is Tariq Skubal pitching in pool play? Like, yo, dude, pitch in the semifinals of the championship game. We don't need you against London. I mean, Great Britain. You know what I mean? Like, dude, we need you against like Shohei Ohtani and against Team Japan. But it's intriguing to me. I mean, to your point, I mean, I'm sitting here last night preparing for a San Diego State UNLV game. I'm watching Australia against the Czech Republic from the Tokyo Dome. It's intriguing, and I love baseball, and I am excited to see the U.S. The Dominican has Machado and Tatis on it, and Soto.
Great lineup.
Yeah, and Soto. They were all Padres. And
bad pitching, but great lineup. They might score 20 runs
100%. And that's a hard way to win. Venezuela has a really good lineup. So there's 4 or 5 teams that are probably pretty darn good. So, yeah, I mean, that's a long way of me saying it's grown on me. I always go back to this. I don't want to see my player get hurt.
Sure.
And I'd much prefer Fernando Tatis hit 334 in the regular season, then go hit 5 home runs in 5 games for the Dominican. That's my one knock is if Tatis hits 5 home runs for the Dominican, he better not hit 2 home runs in April for the Padres.
So agreed. And you gave me a little bit of a segue here to what my actual question was. So here it is, right? I'm a fan of the WBC. Okay. I am not a fan of the time they play it.
Sure.
So I believe they play every 3 years, right? They do this thing every 3 years, right? What I would like to see, them make the regular season shorter in the 3rd year, and I'd like to see it in July. Take away the All-Star game.
I like that.
I'd rather see it in July because, first of all, you got to be an idiot to go up against fucking college basketball in March, right? Even they're starting this thing when the conference tournaments are starting. What do we care about, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm taking like the NEC final over, Brazil, Great Britain, WBC.
Correct. So I would love to see if they took maybe 12 games off the schedule for the year to go down to 150 or 148, whatever, and play it in July when there's no sports. Like, play this thing in July, and you got, 3 months or 4 months to see who's playing well. And now, also, the players are playing, right? They're not going into competitive baseball really 2 to 3 weeks before their bodies would start. So that's the change I would make. I'd play it in July.
Yeah, I love that. I really do. Because one of my criticisms of the WBC, again, goes back to like the analogy I made earlier. I don't know if restrictor plates is the right term to use on it, but I don't like limiting what players are able to do in these games. Like, oh, he can throw 55 pitches.
Correct.
Or he can't throw back-to-back days. Or even some of the run rule stuff. I get it. I mean, like last night, for example, I think Team Japan beat Taiwan 13-0. The game was forfeited after 7 innings because if you lead by 15 after 5, the game's over. If you lead by 10 after 7, right, the game's over. Now, they don't do that in the semifinal or final because people are probably spending $500. You can't end a game after 5 innings in the championship. But again, I do inherently like it. I think there's improvements that could be made. And I'm with you. If you're playing it in July, there's no need to limit pitch counts on players. You don't have to limit someone to 70 pitches. You can let them go to 95 or 100. So to me, it's probably a truer representation of how good these teams actually are if you play it in July as opposed to playing it the first week of March.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm glad we're on the same page with that. So, John, I know you got a busy day. I know you got San Diego State UNLV tonight. Then you got the Mountain West tournament coming up. Anytime you want me to join your show, I'm a phone call away. Anytime, bro.
I would love it.
Anytime.
Yeah, I want to get you during March Madness. And real quick before you go, who's going to win the WBC?
Boy, I took some heat. Okay, I took some heat with the Olympics because I actually bet Canada, and I have no problem admitting that for my people. And
I love it.
I bet Canada, and boy, it didn't go well. So I am not going to make that mistake again. I'm going to root for USA. And you don't know this. I said it earlier in the podcast. My son actually, we had to bring him 5:30 this morning. He's in the Army. So, he had to go. He had to deploy to go learn Arabic and hopefully, he doesn't have to go to Iran, but that's the next step in the process. So I'm going to go USA. I'm rooting for them. I'm going to be a fan, and screw Japan, screw anyone else. I'm going USA.
Well, I'm going to join you in doing that, and I'll be thinking about your family and your son.
Appreciate
keeping us safe here, certainly out here in San Diego, which is this remarkable military city. So, yeah, thinking about everyone. I mean, we talk sport. The beauty of sports, man, is it separates us from the real world.
It does.
There is a real world. But that's the beauty of what you and I do. Sometimes you can kind of get away from it, but end of the day, sports are a distraction for some real things.
It absolutely is. And I said it earlier in the podcast, man, what those young men and women do, or all of our service members, whether they're young or old, they allow us to have the freedoms to come on and do this podcast and to BS back and forth about who we think is going to win. Right. There you go. John Schaeffer, thank you so much for joining us once again. Enjoy San Diego State UNLV tonight. And I'm going to be rooting for your team in the Mountain West tournament.
I appreciate you, my friend. Always fun. Happy to do it anytime.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, that's going to wrap up this edition of the Bet Big, Talk Loud podcast for Friday, March 6th. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed JR. Gave you a free pick with the over in Carolina and Edmonton this evening. Hope you enjoyed the interview I just did with John Schaeffer. Great one. And like I said, he is one of the best guys to speak sports with all throughout this country. Free pick from me for the weekend. Gave you Purdue to beat Wisconsin tomorrow, -6.5. And a crazy one, Mercer to win their conference tournament, which was over 4-1. But again, don't go nuts on that. That's just, have some fun. Guys, enjoy the weekend. Everyone out there in the service, make sure you stay safe. We'll catch you back next week on the Bet Big, Talk Loud podcast.